Hello, beautiful beings. Welcome. I swear, the more time I spend on Instagram, the less time I want to spend on Instagram. The crazy amount of AI that Instagram uses these days for the algorithm, it's just... I feel like I'm not being seen on here as much as I used to be. But that being said, I'm not going to create that reality for myself. I affirm and declare and set the intention that whoever needs to see this video will. And you'll find it, no matter what the algorithm wants to do with it. I usually don't go live this early. It's 9:30 here in Hawaii. Drinking my cacao, make myself cacao. I've been making a lot of cacao every morning. It's really heart opening and I just love it. It's like drinking hot chocolate. Where was I going with that? Oh, I felt called and inspired and expanded by the idea of talking about my journey. And I'm outside, so the wind is going to agree with me at times when I start to say certain things, because that's how the wind communicates with me. And all of those of you that are watching, which, how cool is it that I'm recording this in my now and you get to watch this whenever you find it in your now. Quantum physics. Hi, April. So yeah, I want to talk about my journey with human design and how I've used it to find ease in my life and really attract things to me that are in the most alignment for me with the most ease and grace. I first learned about my human design. Honestly, I've been reflecting on this the last couple of days and I don't know when exactly it was, but it was about 3 or 4 years ago when I learned about human design. And I learned that I'm a manifesting generator with a sacral response, a sacral authority. So that makes me a sacral manifesting generator, which is also sometimes referred to as a pure manifesting generator. If you ever hear that term pure, it just means sacral for generators and for mani-gens. My profile is a 1-3, so learning my profile was really what kind of like got the wheels turning. Like when I learned I was a mani-gen, I was just like, oh cool, like I'm meant to do things differently. I'm meant to like go through cycles and like waves of like doing what I'm really interested in the moment. That feels expansive to me. I've done a lot of things in my life. I've had a lot of different jobs. I like to name a few. I worked at Whole Foods. I worked at a big health food store for 4 years. I worked as a jewelry seller at crystal gem shows. I've worked arranging, making flower arrangements that were like fake but like lit up. I forget what they're called. Anyways, doesn't matter. I've worked at like a cup store, like Tervis tumblers, if you guys have heard of those. I have worked at a dog kennel. I've been a dog walker and a house sitter. I've had so many different jobs, and when I learned that that's like what a mani-gen is kind of like here to do, I was like, oh, that makes so much sense for my life, because literally my whole life I've been told by those around me, by my parents, by my family, that like I had to discern and pick an area of study and go to college and study that for however many years it was going to take to get whatever I needed to get to be whatever I needed to be, and then I would do that for the rest of my life. And that just sounded like death to me. Like that just sounded like, why do people do that? Like, what? And then I learned I was a mani-gen and I was like, oh, like I'm not meant to do that. And a lot of the world is manifesting generators. And we're not meant to operate that way. And when we put ourselves into boxes like that, it literally shuts our sacral response and our system down. It's like you can feel it in your body. If you're a sacral manifesting generator or generator, you can feel it in your body when something's not aligned for you anymore. And as a mani-gen, as an MG, we're also manifesting generators are also referred to as mani-gen or MGs, teaching you the lingo. You gotta learn the language to speak this modality and to know what I'm talking about. It's a thing. Just like with astrology, if I were to like just start talking about squares and trines and astrology things, if you didn't know what I was talking about, you'd be like, what? So there's like a whole language to this. That got me off on a tangent. MG. So I'm an MG, and your MGs are here to do things differently and to not stick to one thing for their whole life. Like, that is just, and you'll feel it in your body. That's what I was saying, is you'll feel it in your body, and you will start to feel like you'll go through more often waves of depression. It's kind of sometimes referred to as the generator slump, when we're like, we've done too much stuff, because we have a strong sacral response, which is like, we can put a lot of work and put a lot of our energy into something, and when we're committed to it, we do it. But if it's something that's not really in full alignment with us, it will lead us to burnout. It will lead us to frustration, which is our not self theme, which I talk about in one of my recent YouTube videos. So if you're just getting into human design and you're like, what's a not self, what's a strategy, what's an authority, how do I know about my type, like, go to my YouTube channel. I have a lot of videos that just walk over the basics, and I'll be posting more soon in the next week or two here. So if you're not subscribed, go subscribe and keep on the lookout for those coming soon. Because this is a lot of information, just as similar as it is to astrology. And like I said, I've been studying this for 3 to 4 years now, and I'm just starting to learn a lot of the deeper stuff in human design. It is much like astrology, and that it takes a lot of time and rigorous study to fully understand. And you can either, as a 1-3 profile, that's kind of what I'm here to do, is to investigate and to go deep into the information and find out all the things through like my journey of investigating and self-exploration and really investigating things. So if you're a 1-3, I recommend you do that as well, and really study these modalities and allow yourself to investigate what it's all about. But it does take a lot of time. Like I said, it's taken me years, and I still feel like I don't know enough. I still feel like there's so much I don't know. Like, it can be overwhelming. And the easiest way to know about your design and to just have it like interpreted is to book a reading, either with me or someone else that you really resonate with. It is just the easiest way to get your foot in that door and to like start to understand your own design, and then you can take that deeper. You can either, there's a saying that one of my good friends says, she's like, you can either spend time and energy pursuing knowledge in something, or you can pay someone who has done the same to give you that knowledge in a lot less time. So paying someone to do a reading for you that's maybe 30 minutes or an hour is going to help you on your journey and just kickstart it all so much, and just be able to walk you through the basics, and then you can take that further if you feel called to, especially if you're a 1-3. That's what we're here to do, is to investigate and to really go through our own self-discovery and like learn through investigating and researching and really looking at these things at a deeper level. That's what the 1-3 profile is here to do. They're a foundational profile. So if you want to, there's a mosquito. If you want to learn about this stuff, like, I highly recommend learning from someone who is a 1-3, because they will be able to tell you, the really deep stuff in a really simple way that's easy to understand, because they've taken the time to investigate and to research thoroughly all of these things. Like, I myself have spent a lot of my past recent years doing. I am more well-versed in astrology. I can speak astrology way quicker. It's like my first language, and human design I'm like still learning. But that being said, I have learned a lot, as I was working with a human design reader for about a year, and she taught me a whole lot, and I have learned so much just through doing readings for my friends and like looking at my own chart, my own design, and the charts of my friends. I get off on a whole tangent here, but reel it back into my story. When I learned I was a manifesting generator, it really like just awakened something in me and gave me confirmation that I'm on the right path, and that I'm already doing what I've like needed to be doing my whole life. And knowing that I have a sacral response to follow and to listen to just gave me like a way to follow this that's really easy, and that's really like simple to integrate. And your authority is your how you're meant to make decisions. Your authority and the strategy that comes with your authority is how you're here to operate in this life with ease. It's how you're meant to flow through life. It's your internal guidance system. Your inner guidance system is your authority, is your strategy. That again comes from your authority. And these things are kind of hard to understand at first, these concepts and these words. So again, take this knowledge to your own chart. Maybe pull up your own chart right now and be like, okay, what's my authority? If it's, for example, if you're a manifesting generator, it's probably going to be sacral. It could also be emotional. If you're a generator, it's probably going to be sacral. It could also be emotional. So there are different types of authorities that have different strategies, but for the sake of this video, keeping it short and to the point, again, if you want to know more about the other authorities and strategies, you can check out my YouTube channel, because I have some videos on there that will help you and walk you through that, and really like how to use that to make your decisions, to help with and assist with your decision making processes, because your authority, your strategy is your internal guidance system. It's how you're meant to like navigate through life and operate and make decisions. And so once I learned that, I'm not meant to make a decision that doesn't feel expansive to me, it like changed the whole game. And I started doing this, and ever since I've been following this, it has led me to so much ease in my life. It has led me, it's literally the reason I'm in Hawaii right now, the reason I moved here. I'll walk you through a little story. I'm gonna take a sip of my cacao first. So yeah, I knew for the past 2 years that I wanted to come to Hawaii. And around the time that, I love that the wind's picking up right now. Thank you, wind. Around the time that I started learning about human design, I was dating and living with a partner at the time, a past partner, and he decided to end our relationship and move to Hawaii. It was a mutual ending of the relationship. I don't want to paint anyone to be a bad guy here. It was a mutual ending of the relationship. We decided to go our separate ways, and he was going to move to Hawaii. And that kind of caused in me like a resistance to Hawaii. Like I was like, ugh, why would you move to Hawaii? Like it's so hot. At the time I lived in the mountains of Colorado at 10,000 feet. So I was like, it's so hot there. Like it never gets above 75 degrees here. Like I love that the wind's picking up, because like literally I'm here now. I had no idea what I was talking about. But that kind of painted a picture of Hawaii in my mind that was like, I don't know if I'll ever go there, or like wanna and be interested at all in visiting. And the years went by, and I started to see more people that I follow on YouTube and on Instagram in Hawaii, and loving Hawaii and really living amazing lives. Like I've been vegan for 7.5 years, plant-based, not fully vegan, but plant-based. Fully vegan for probably about 6. And I was like, there's so much fruit there. Like the food there looks amazing. Like I kind of want to visit and see what it's all about. And this went on for like 2 years. And about 6 months ago, I got a DM. So I had like been seeing signs, and signs come to me through numbers. And I've been seeing 808, which is the area code for Hawaii. And I was like, I know I'm meant to go there, because like I keep seeing this area code, and I kept seeing like pictures and just like videos of people in Hawaii and of Hawaii itself. And I was like, okay, I know I'm called there. Like I will get there when it's time. And again, following my human design, I was like, I know I will know to wait. I know to wait to respond to something that comes into me about a trip there. Wind's agreed. Oh, wind. And so that's what I did. I waited for something for me to respond to about planning a trip here. And that thing was a friend reaching out to me about a retreat that our mutual friend was hosting, and was like, hey, did you see this? This is happening in Hawaii. Like, it looks amazing. And I was like, yoga, meditation, chanting, like for a weekend, self-development work, like I'm in, like sign me up. And it's in Hawaii. I know I'm going. So that was like my, what's the word I'm looking for? Not invitation, but I'll use invitation because I don't know what else word to use right now. So that was like my invitation to respond to that like thing that came into my life of like, hey, this is going on in Hawaii. And I was like, oh yes, like I feel excited by this. I feel expanded by this. Again, listening to that sacral response that I have as a Manny Gen, and that generators have as well. So if you're a generator or Manny Gen, you have a sacral response that you're meant to listen to, and you're meant to follow that expanded feeling in your body, and your body will communicate it to you. And it's like, literally, it's like a, yes, like that feels so exciting, or like, And it can also be too, like sometimes like a shaking of your head that you don't even, like you might not even be consciously aware of is happening, but it's like your body is communicating these signals through you. That's what the sacral is meant to do. And so my friend sent me this, sent me the link to the retreat, and I was like, oh yes, I'm there. I was like, well, you know, I'm living in this place in Colorado, just staying with a friend, like paying month to month for rent. And I was like, I, you know, have the freedom to just book a one-way ticket and kind of explore. I don't know how long I want to be in Hawaii. I've never been, so I'm going to just book a one-way ticket. And that felt expansive, felt good to me to do. So I did that, responded to the invitation to book this trip. And that is how I'm here today. And through following my design, like through continuing that process of really listening to my body and like listening to what feels exciting, what feels expansive in my body, has led me to so many amazing places. I couldn't even sum it up in like a 10-minute or 30-minute video, however long this is going to end up being. It's just not possible, because there's so many times like this where things have happened like this, where it's like, when I follow that expansion, when I follow the sacral gut response, it leads me to amazing places. It leads me to places I never could have planned or like consciously figured out beforehand. You know, it's like, and that's what human design is really for. Like, astrology is the story of your life. Astrology is why you're so incarnated into this life, and it can give you insight into predictions and events that are going to happen for you. It can also give insight into your personality and how you're meant to operate. Human design really brings the lens of like, this is how I'm meant to flow through life. This is how I'm meant to operate and make decisions and trust and follow my internal guidance system. And both modalities, astrology and human design, both give you a more well-rounded picture of like your conditioning and how to break out of your conditioning and how to really come home to yourself, how to come home to your truth, how to come home to the roadmap, the manual of your soul. Like everything we buy these days comes with a manual. Why wouldn't you think that you come with a manual as well? And that's what astrology and human design really are. And all of these systems, like the I Ching, gene keys, chakra system, it's just a way to come home to yourself and to know what is needed for you to be able to do that and clear out the gunk, clear out the shit, clear out the conditioning that is keeping that hidden from you, that is keeping you from living in alignment with your true purpose and your soul. So that's kind of an example of how really like living my human design has helped me and has called things into my life. I'm also doing that right now. I'm in process of that right now, of finding a new place to stay and a home for myself for the next couple months. I, as of right now, when I'm filming this video, don't know or where I'm going to be living in 2 weeks, but I am following my human design. I'm following this response of like, it doesn't feel good to me to like look for places. I feel like what feels expansive for me is it's just gonna come in. It's just gonna come in by word of mouth, or someone being like, hey, I have this place open, like, do you, like, or me just, you know, it's, I don't know how, but I know and I can feel it in my body what feels expansive for me to follow. And yes, to my conscious mind and my conditioning and the Kelsey like 4 months ago would have been like, what do you mean you don't know where you're gonna live in 2 weeks? What do you mean like it's just gonna come in? What do you mean you don't have to like search for it or like make it happen, or like, what do you mean? And that's like the conditioning that's not you, and that wasn't me, and that I'm choosing not to live from anymore. So that's what my human design has really helped me with. And astrology really brings in like a clearer lens of it too, because they blend together so well, which I'll be sharing more about as it reveals itself to me, because I'm still uncovering all this stuff. And as a 1-3, like I have to know a lot about something and feel comfortable in that knowledge before I feel comfortable sharing about it. And if you're a 1-3, it's the same for you. Your profile, I will touch on real quickly that your profile is really important for you to know in human design as well. But there's so much misinformation out there, guys, about human design, and a lot of it is like shared straight from the books, straight from like this lens of like just how do I even say it, like it's just hard to understand. Like I have been, like I said, I've been in this field, this world for 3 to 4 years, and it's really hard to understand and like implement and integrate the information that's out there on Google about human design, because 1, it's so new and like still up and coming, and 2, people like, you need like real life examples of this stuff to really like implement and integrate this knowledge. And through my experience and my study of this, I've really been able to cultivate that. So it can be really difficult if you're just like doing this research all on your own, or like, you know, going at it from the lens or the perspective of like, it's almost like you can study biology, you can study chemistry, you can study these concepts and these principles, but like, what does it actually look like in the real world? What does it actually look like when you're in the lab working with, you know, it's like taking me back to my college days when I was like in biology lab, like applying the things I was learning. I was like, wait, we're not taught in the way that this needs to be applied. Like, these are two different, is that making sense? Hopefully I'm not confusing any of you guys, but it's like one thing to have this knowledge, and it's another thing to apply it to your life and integrate it and use it in a way that's helpful. So that's also what a reading can do for you. And in my readings specifically, I do a lot of, I talk a lot about integration and how what this looks like in your life, and how you can embody this in your life, and how you can really like use these concepts to heal and to release your conditioning, to really step into who you are in a way that's practical, in a way that's simple and easy to understand. So that's what I specifically like focus on in my readings. I don't just like spew the knowledge to you. I help you integrate it into your life. So yeah, if you're interested, I have that information's all on my website. And if you're a 1-3 or you have a line 1 in your profile and you just want to learn and investigate and do your own research, then yeah, I wish you the best of luck on your journey. I use geneticmatrix.com for pulling up charts, and you can also pay to be a part of their monthly membership and get access to the interactive charts, which will walk you through your whole chart. I also use an app called the Human Design app that's really helpful for like learning all your centers, because there's so much to this. Like, it's so much more than just like your type, which is like manifesting generator, projector, or your strategy, or your authority and your profile. There's so much more to it, like all the centers, and then there's like the gates, and then there's the astrology that comes in, and then there's the variables, the arrows at the top of your chart that give you insight into your ideal environment, your super sense, which is your like cognition, your strongest clair, your unique eating style, and how you're meant to like operate through this life, like your motivation, what motivates you, your drive. There's so much to learn about this stuff, and like I said, it's really challenging at this point in time when I'm recording this video to find information out there on human design that's really helpful and that's really like easy to understand and apply to your own life. So that's what I'm here to do, is to help you do that. So if you're interested, yeah, check out my website and my YouTube channel. I have a lot of videos on my YouTube channel as well, and we'll be adding more as I record more. I'm about to record a bunch today, so be on the lookout for those. And yeah, would love to connect with you further off of this platform if you feel called. I'm also doing a lot of rooms on Clubhouse these days. If you're not on Clubhouse, I highly recommend Clubhouse. It is such a fun platform, and it's such a great way to connect with people in real time, and also you can learn so much from it. There's constantly rooms on human design, on astrology, on tarot, on how to awaken to your intuition, your psychic gifts, and the Akashic records. There's so much on Clubhouse that is just really amazing and informative and fun. So that's where I'm going to be spending most of my time, is YouTube and Clubhouse. So if you want to keep up with me, follow me over there. And in the meantime, sending you so much love, and I'll see you again soon.